Ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, we'll just let the chief of Umukwata herself, like we said, our dear king of Umukwata, you have to give that title very correctly.
All right.
OjyOkpe is here.
That was a good introduction as well. Good morning, Rufy on fire. You know, today is my favorite day. Friday, TGIF. Good morning, our favorite Niger wife. I'm saying favorite, our favorite international correspondent. How are you this morning?
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Oji.
I'm just excited. It's Friday.
Are you to our favorite what's trending?
Why not? Today I come in peace. Absolutely.
That's not true.
I smell
violence.
No,
not at all.
in a few minutes.
Not at all.
Okay.
Well, all right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending in Kaduna State, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inaugurated several projects initiated by Governor Uba Sani. Tinubu lauded Sani's leadership, saying that he has transformed Kaduna from a toxic and insecure state into a hub of peace and development. Tinubu highlighted the significant improvement in security, contrasting the current peaceful atmosphere with the tense situation during his last visit in 2022, when extensive security escorts were needed for campaigns. Let's take a look.
Since yesterday, many of you are present in Benue, condoling and sympathizing with people of Benue. Today, you are all here, and we've seen a governor, Uba Sani, an agent of change, stability, love, unity, and progress. Uba Sani has performed wonders and changed the environment from previous toxic, uncontrollable environment to a state of life, progress, and development. I say thank you, my comrade. Thank you very much.
All right, Governor of Peace. He has been hailed. You know, we also gave the Governor of the Year for this day award. And, you know, one of the things that the chairman had attributed was the fact that he has really, you know, controlled peace in Kaduna State. And the president has re-echoed Prince Nduka Obaigbena's comments during the This Day Awards. But I mean, come on, that was quite violent. President, will I say? In fact, is that the word? Violence.
I want to join that violence. I want to not join that violence.
It was a toxic, what else did he say? Uncontrollable environment. So that was what, during the El-Rufai regime he's talking about? Because in 2022, he said he couldn't drive to...
the president didn't mention him, but I want to go in that
But he said 2022, during the campaigns, he couldn't...
You wanted to say something.
Yes.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, I should go. Okay, let me now go in the line of violence. Oji, you are spot on. He said it.
Yes.
So the time of the last administration was not good.
Yes.
It was toxic.
Toxic.
It was violence.
Uncontrollable.
Uncontrollable. He said it. Shots fired at El-Rufai.
Correct.
But believe politicians at your own peril.
Yeah.
Is this not the same President Tinubu that went to court El-Rufai to support him in the last election that said, I need you? Where did he make that statement? Didn't he go to the same Kaduna leading up to his elections in the APC? Then, didn't he go there and say, I need you, that you can't refuse? Why didn't he say that is toxic, is uncontrollable at that time?
But
politicians...
Okay, but that was about the state.
That's a different idea.
But when he was in front of El-Rufai, seeking his support for his presidential candidature, why didn't he tell him and speak truth to power to him then? He can't. Enough fits. Because then, they were good. He needed his support. But now, he's saying it. So, let me throw this spanner. But on the flip side, I'm sure the El-Rufai people are happy about that comment, one. On the flip side of it, what President Tinubu said is true.
But that's the actual,
state-
that's the
the
point.
bottom line, yeah.
No, it's true.
Uba
Uba Sani has done I said it this morning. Uba Sani has done a very excellent job at Unity. We talk the stories of him going to create a Christmas carol and things like that, and bringing more inclusion as regards people in southern Kaduna.
Right.
And doing infrastructure there.
More on security as well, because really his point was that I could not travel through the road during the 2022 campaigns, and now there's more security in Kaduna State, and which we have seen, because Kaduna State was one of those states that we're actually using as a benchmark for other states to emulate Plateau, Benue, because they have the same sort of crisis that was rocking the state. But in the meantime, Governor Sani, in turn, thanked President Tinubu for his support, especially in addressing security challenges in the state. The governor also outlined his administration's achievements, including building new schools, upgrading classrooms, constructing roads, and slashing tertiary institution tuition fees, stating that Kaduna has bounced back from the brink. He also mentioned the reclamation of farmland and the reopening of schools in areas once affected by terrorism, attributing these successes to the Kaduna Peace Model.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, like you already know, when we assumed office in 2023, Kaduna State was a state under siege. A land plagued by violence, banditry, and deep-seated mistrust. Our farmers have returned to the fields, sowing seed of hope and harvest of prosperity. Markets once shut, owing to security challenges, have not just been open, but are actually bubbling, and our very productive farmers are smiling to the banks. About 535 schools across 8 of the most impacted local government areas that were closed as a result of insecurity have since reopened, helping to reduce very drastically the number of out-of-school children that once littered corners and streets of our dear state, Mr. President. Remember, you traveled along with me to Binangwali on 12 December 2022. We couldn't pass that road, but we used at least 30 armored vehicles with you under the former GOC late Labaja of blessed memory. Today, Mr. President, you can go to Binangwali with the eyes closed without a single police escort. That is an achievement.
All right, this was amazing. I mean, he did reel out a lot of his achievements there. You know, we even saw the former vice president of Nigeria, Namadi Sambo, praise him as well, especially for that hospital that was inaugurated, the 300-bed facility, which he says Uba Sani was able to complete even after 3 successful governments had failed. Meanwhile, President Tinubu was briefly interrupted when a young man who was said to be physically challenged attempted to approach him while he was delivering his speech. Security operatives quickly intervened and restrained the young man. However, Tinubu calmly instructed the security detail to leave him alone. Let's take a look.
Today, I've seen an example of people-oriented commitment, development agenda, and farsightedness in the governor, who had established not only critical center to train and develop the mind of our youths, leaving schools, as well as providing them with skill and opportunity to excel. Leave him alone. Your great people, Senator Uba Sani, the great people of Kaduna loves you. And that extends to our commitment to democracy, justice, and dignity of life. You are a good leader, and I am very happy to have to work with you I think I am a lucky president.
A lucky president indeed. Adefemi, I saw you go like, when you saw. But you know, this video has gone viral on social media with so many different interpretations. People saying that, you know, the president was attacked in Kaduna State, but that's not the case. Because I reached out to our reporter in Kaduna, Nisi Gabriel, who was there live, and he saw that it was this young boy who didn't know anything about the protocols, obviously was so excited and wanted to go and, you know, say hello to the president. So that was really what all it was, just for our viewers and for the people that have been peddling these narratives. The president was not attacked in Kaduna State. But you know, the event was great. Yes. Tinubu inaugurated several projects there, including that 300-bed specialist hospital that I just mentioned, 100 compressed natural gas powered buses, and institutes of vocational training and skills development. The president highlighted the projects as examples of a people-oriented commitment development agenda and urged other governors to emulate Kaduna's approach. I mean, this is so amazing. Vimbai, go ahead.
I mean, gosh, there's so much to say. Let's begin with the young boy.
Yes.
You know, in the Bible, there was the woman who said, if only I can touch the hem of his garment. You know, it's not every day that you are around the proximity of where the president is. Young, excitable boy, poor him, just thought, maybe if I could just shake his hand or something. So I just do appeal to the presidency that I hope they can find that young boy. I think it's a good opportunity for us to do some community outreach.
Yes,
Let's, you know, just treat him to a trip to the Aso Villa, so he can actually meet the president because he was so eager and enthusiastic to see. So I appeal to the presidency just to make that happen. It's just a sign of good faith, you know, just a sign of good faith. And thank you so much for dispelling that rumor. It was not an attack, but, you know, just a disruption from the young boy. Now, very quickly on, you touched on, I think, all of the key points concerning the significance of yesterday. Yes, Rufai summarized it correctly. You know, when you hear the word toxic, and then you just think back to, remember, there were the issues around the later stages of the campaign, just before the elections. And Governor El Rufai was one of those people who rallied behind the policy who rallied against the policy of Naira scarcity because it would have impacted President Tinubu's chances. You know, he's one of those, shall I say, colonels or soldiers who we did see teamship. We saw him rallying around the then campaigning president. So to see this, you know, breakdown in relations, which is public, of course, we've seen former Governor El Rufai coming to various public places to also express his dislike for the Tinubu regime. So, you know, it's not, the translation is not lost on anybody. But what we can't take away is the fact that there's tangible, empirical change on the ground in Kaduna. We can't take that away from anybody. What was happening before was toxic. And even when you read sort of the difference in body language from what the previous administration was doing with regards to the killings in southern Kaduna, and you listen to the tone of this current governor, it's night and day. Their tone is different, their body language is different, even their strategies in tackling these issues are totally different. So given that, I don't think it's misplaced to say what was happening before was toxic, especially when you think of young Christians, the Christian communities in southern Kaduna during that time. Now, earlier I'd made mention of the fact that it's incredible to see that a project from 2009 that was initiated by Namadi Sambo himself has now been finally brought to fruition, because usually these things are abandoned. Usually we see governors come in, they want to create all new everything for themselves. Sometimes they can finish it, sometimes they can't. But I think it's really good to set this precedent to say it doesn't matter who started the project. Whether you meet it at 50%, 60, 70%, just complete it. It is the honorable right thing to do. So I think there's a lot of lessons on governance to be taken away from this outing. And, you know, congratulations. A good thing is a good thing. It's non-partisan, whether you're APC, PDP, Labour Party, SDP. If you do well, people will acknowledge that you have performed well.
I love that. I love that point. I mean, it was beautiful to see all the encomium, especially from the Vice President, Namadi Sambo. Again, the President has hailed Uba Sani for the peace that he has brought to Kaduna State. Congratulations, Uba Sani. We'll take another story now. On Thursday, a federal Capital Territory High Court in Maitama granted Senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, bail to the amount of 50 million naira in a defamation suit filed against her by the federal government. The court rejected the government's application to remand her in custody. Justice Chizoba Orji, in her ruling, stated that the prosecution failed to provide sufficient justification to deny Akpoti-Uduaghan bail, noting her sufficient willingness to face the charges. Akpoti-Uduaghan appeared in court with her husband and was supported by prominent figures including Obi-Ezekwesili and Aisha Yusufu. Well, here's the moment. Her bail application was granted. This was so beautiful to see. Well, the trial has been adjourned to September 23rd. As part of the bail conditions, she must provide one surety, who is a person of integrity and owns land property within Abuja. Akpoti-Uduaghan is facing a 3-count charge of criminal defamation. Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello have been listed as nominal complainants. The charges stem from allegations made by Akpoti-Uduaghan, including claims that Akpabio and Bello plotted her assassination and that Akpabio was linked to a controversial murder case involving organ harvesting. Akpoti-Uduaghan's family home was recently attacked by hoodlums. One suspect, reported to be a known ritualist, was apprehended at the scene of the attack. A cutlass and charms were recovered from him by the police. I mean, Adefemi Akinsoya, this woman has gone through a lot. I mean, remember during her suspension, her security detail was withdrawn, and she has been talking about the fact that she feels very unsafe living in Nigeria. I believe this is the second attack in her family home. There were more people that were there at the location of the attack, but this one ritualist was the only person that they apprehended. Your thoughts on all of the conversation?
First and foremost, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan has every right to feel unsafe in this country, in her homeland, and in her own home, essentially, with these examples of people being found in her residence with no real good reason to be there. She has every right to feel as though her life is under threat, and if she has named people being responsible for these attacks, then it is up to her and the people supporting her to give her the space to be able to defend herself in a court of law. People may say that there was too much pomp and circumstance within the courtroom, but I think they should also understand the gravity of the situation against her. This is a woman who has had to withstand a lot.
Yes.
And she is currently also still suspended, doesn't have the security detail, and we're seeing an example of what happens when a high-profile person does not have adequate security detail. So we are going to be looking throughout this entire court process to see how it goes. But I do think it was an excellent show of solidarity. I love the fact that her husband was right there beside her in the courtroom. And to see women like Aisha Yusufu, Obi-Ezekwesili being there to show support, it is something that should be commended.
Yes, absolutely. Rufai, your thoughts on her bail, her bail application
I'm going to explain to you why you saw that celebration.
That celebration, yes.
The initial plan was to ensure that she goes in incarceration, and that will have been a mentality blow to her in this fight. You wonder, why was the federal government, in this case, saying that she must be locked up? Do you know, I'm not sure that got to the press, that another case was quickly filed in the course of the week, and her lawyers were not told that she finally found out, and they went there and they challenged her again. Almost the same charges. Quickly in the course of the week. That was not reported to the public. So that plan failed. If she said something that they are now taking her to court for that as alleged defamation, shouldn't be between her and the people she said the things against. Why is the federal government inside this? But President Tinubu promised in his statements that even those that criticize him and criticize his government, he will let them be. But why is the federal government now taking it up in this? And we all know this goes through all of the back and forth between them. I've always said, I'm not saying Natasha is wrong or right, but if she doesn't have evidence to prove a sexual harassment, I would be the first to condemn her. And she must provide evidence at some point. But you know, we've heard of that now. The matter started from seats to sexual harassment. We've heard of that now. If you remember, the matter went into recall at a point, which we revealed. The report was not successful. Now it has gone into defamation territory. And we are seeing all of this back and forth. So she must be able to prove also with this that she has evidence that she can see that some people are after her life. But also, let's go to some of the facts. This is the second time her home will be attacked.
Yes.
This is not the first time. So there's constant repeated attacks on her home, and we are looking at all of this. That's why you saw the celebration that was going on. I'm not taking side with Akpabio, I'm not taking side with Natasha, but if a woman, what caused all of this, if she has said it was sexually harassed, she should be allowed to be able to provide her evidence. And if she can't provide the evidence, we'll berate her, definitely. But was this the right approach? A federal government counsel arguing in courts that she must be incarcerated. Why is it that we all have this level of high-handedness? Just like how some people did with Dele Farutimi in this country, to be able to prove a point.
Right.
So, but all of it now has come to naught. So they've adjourned it. We'll see what the court will rule as regards this issue.
Absolutely.
But all sides must be heard.
All right, very good. We'll take another story now. We'll follow up on the story as always. We'll take another story. On Thursday, the Lagos state government ordered the immediate shutdown of the Oko-Oba abattoir due to severe unsanitary conditions, improper waste management, and unhygienic handling of animal products. The Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, announced the closure in a post on X after an inspection, stating that the abattoir operators were illegally discharging animal waste and blood directly into public drainage systems.
The government sent here, and I've just really invested in it. I'm not closing down fully. I'm not even going to miss what. I'm closing down fully until things are done the right way. And people cannot be sleeping in animal pens. It's not going to work. They can't be slaughtering animals and they try to put it in fish tank. It's not going to work in Nigeria. It's not going to work. And we can't just try something right.
Where? Well, let's just arrest.
When we shot it, somebody will sit down and tell people.
So you'll talk to yourself?
This rascality needs to stop. I was mortified when I saw the story. Clearly a blatant violation of environmental laws. You know, the commissioner emphasized that all abattoirs must comply within regulations requiring waste to be treated before discharge. The Lagos state government has also warned that it will take firm action to ensure compliance and would continue joint enforcement operations with the ministries of environment and agriculture. I mean, this man, Tokunbo Wahab, has been really hailed. I mean, he's doing a fantastic job at this point. I'd like to read a tweet, which I actually, because I did pull up his post on X, and I want to read that tweet. This is from DJ, who actually commended the commissioner. She wrote, Lagos State, keep this man in government for the next 20 years. These are the kind of people who should aspire to the leadership of Lagos. So excited about the work this fellow is doing. There are times I've pointed out some improvements to be made, but overall his drive and passion is incredible. Imagine if you have 10 men like this in government at the same time. That was such a good tweet, and it really, for me, it echoes what I think of Tokunbo Wahab at this point. But did you see that video? I mean, how can that happen in a place like that? You keep the same people that are breeding your animals, sleeping in the same place, and then you dare pour blood into the drainage systems. Have you ever seen any sort of rascality like this before? Avimbai, really quickly.
It is not only disgusting, but it's also extremely dangerous because the type of outbreaks that can come out of that are, you know, are monumental. The types of diseases that can be breeded in such an environment are very, very dangerous. They're the types of things that will spread, and we don't need any pandemics of any sort, especially those that are preventable. Let's remind ourselves that, yes, fine, science is still out on the matter and people still debate it. But remember, they do still say that, you know, viruses like COVID started in a market. You know, that's still the theory. There are several theories, but whether or not that theory is true, it doesn't take away from the point that it's possible for viruses to be bred in marketplaces that are not kept in hygienic conditions. And I hope that we can be systematic about this. So let it not just be this one. I hope that there's a task force that can go around, because generally, if you do take time out to go to the market, which I try to do regularly, some of the conditions are very devastating there. Really. And it's unfair because the majority of the population buys from the market. It's not everybody who can walk into a supermarket and get everything clean and packaged. They cut it for you then and there. That's why even when there's no electricity, we get worried because you know, they're using that to keep these goods fresh. So this is a great initiative. I hope, like I said, it's not a once-off. I hope there can be more of this in a systematic way. And then also, just a reminder that there's still some places that have a lot of trash. I hope he can still take some time out to go to the Ajah axis and other places. The floods have been absolutely painfully intolerable this year. They've been worse than many years. Yes, they are flash floods, but it has never been this bad before. So while he's going around Lagos, you know, just a gentle reminder to attend to those other places where our cars desperately need his intervention.
Well said. I have a quick correction I have to put out there. So, because I was asking why is this matter, you know, going federal government versus Natasha. So they say it's a criminal prosecution, so it's Natasha versus Federal Republic of Nigeria, not a civil matter. That's a matter of law. Okay.
Well, all right. Well, so good. Thanks for that. So the Lagos abattoir has been shut down at this point. Like you said, I hope that he looks into your concerns. That's why it's good that we highlight this story. Absolutely. Well, kudos to Kumbo Wahab. We'll take another story now. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced on Thursday that they are finalizing arrangements for the emergency evacuation of its citizens stranded in Israel and Iran following the escalation of hostilities between the two countries. According to a statement from the ministry spokesperson, Nigerians in the affected regions are strongly advised to adhere to security protocols and contact their nearest Nigerian embassy or mission in Tel Aviv and Tehran for registration and further instructions. Meanwhile, a video making the rounds on social media, posted by Honorable Henry, indicates that efforts to contact officials at the Nigerian embassy in Tehran proved abortive.
We just came to the embassy, Nigerian embassy here in Tehran, in respect to the situation, and as it has been informed that all residents of Tehran should be evacuated. And we came to Nigerian embassy here at least to see our embassy staffs or the consular or the ambassador or whoever. These are Nigerians also. Many of them, some of them have just left. We came here. This is the Nigerian embassy, Tehran. All of them, they have abandoned the Nigerian citizens. They have abandoned Nigerian citizens to their own fate in Tehran, in Iran. That's why we're making this video, so that it can go viral. This is the Nigerian coat of arms, written here, Embassy of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Tehran.
I see you people cracking up. But I mean, this is a concern. I thought I should highlight this video because I did see that statement that the ministry put out. And I know that in the statement, the ministry commended the diplomatic missions for their efforts in reaching out to the Nigerian community during this challenging period. You know, the ministry also reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to the safety and welfare of its citizens abroad and its collaboration with international partners for a timely and secure evacuation. I thought it was important to highlight this story for the ministry so that, you know, they could take a good look at that man. His name is Honorable Henry on TikTok. He's looking for officials in Tehran. Meanwhile, the founder of the Silverbird Group and former Senator Ben Murray Bruce has predicted that a looming World War III, fueled by trigger-happy leaders, rising violence, and nuclear weapons, is inevitable. The former senator made the comments during a live interview on Tuesday, suggesting that while this global conflict will devastate much of the world, Africa, especially Nigeria, would remain untouched and will serve as a safe haven for survivors. Let's take a look.
We're in big trouble. And as long as we have the kind of leaders we have in the world today, yes, I see World War III coming, and it's going to be terrible. The beauty of World War III is it's not going to affect Africa, right? Africa will be spared. You guys are going to fight all across the world, but we're going to be safe in Nigeria. Nobody's going to be fighting in Nigeria because we have no territorial ambition. We have no desire to acquire nuclear weapons. We don't want to fight anybody, and we're friends with all our West African neighbors. So yeah, there's going to be a World War III, but the rest of the world will be destroyed, and we'll be happy to welcome Americans and Israelis and Iranians to Nigeria, and we'll make sure you all have your visas to come here because we don't want you to come as immigrants, and we don't want to treat you very badly when you get here, but we're going to treat you very well when you all come visit us in Nigeria.
I've been cracking up like crazy. No, I mean, this really made my day. You will get your visa. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because the actual issue is about war, and the nonsense going on around the world. Go ahead.
Oji, really? In all fairness, I get what he was trying to do.
Yes, we all
you know
get
why?
it was
so
a joke.
That's an American audience who was speaking.
Yes.
He was crying. You are doomed for. When you are doomed, you will come here and get it. But in reality,
get your visa.
The truth is, we don't pray for it. If it happens, it affects us. It even affects us multiple times. And we need to be careful.
Thank you. Well, when we're looking at international global conflicts, the reason why we report them, the reason why we talk about them is because they affect all of us. You know, a lot of the feedback we get, sometimes on the World Brief or just in general about why we take foreign news on the morning show, this is an example of that because this world truly is interconnected and anything that happens anywhere affects people everywhere. So I think that should be made clear.
Right.
I can understand that he was, making a joke. On its face, I thought at first he was making a link between it's called, in international politics, the theory is called Huntington's paradigm. Yeah. And so the political scientist said that eventually the world will cascade into total chaos. He called it the clash of civilizations. Yeah. So at first I thought that's where Ben Murray Bruce was going. So I was quite open to what he was saying. Yeah. And then when I understood the full context, I said, okay, no, we're not. Yeah. we're not exempt.
You're going to need a visa to come to Nigeria. I mean, I thought that was a good story to crack up our tongue in cheek. I mean,
Correct.
You guys would need a visa to come to Nigeria. Well, all right. Shall we head over to Oboing State now, where the governor of the state, Francis Mufuru, has shared a remarkable testimony recounting how he experienced a miraculous healing after visiting Reverend Father Ejike Ngbaka's adoration ground in Enugu. The governor revealed that he had undergone over 600 medical tests both in Nigeria and internationally, yet doctors were unable to diagnose his life-threatening ailment. Governor Mufuru said it was only after his visit to the adoration ground, where he believes the power of the Holy Eucharist intervened, that he made a full recovery. In a video now making the rounds on social media, the governor was seen showcasing his traditional dance skills, celebrating the miracle. Let's take a look. I mean, who wouldn't dance like that? 600 tests. I heard you guys arguing really quickly, but I mean, I will dance. Miracle. Don't argue now. The man has come out with his testimony and he's dancing. He's happy.
I'm happy for him, but
600 tests.
600 tests.
Okay, no problem.
And they didn't diagnose anything.
Well, thank God for the governor.
Thank God for his healing.
Thank God for his healing. I will dance.
Tire Jesus, blessing. No, the tire Jesus. 600 tests. 600. Okay.
Well, all right. We thank God for your life, Ebonyi State Governor. We'll take our story now on the Milestone. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday conferred the national honor of Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic on retired Colonel Abubakar Dangiwa Umar in recognition of his courage and steadfastness in the struggle for democracy. Well, President Tinubu announced the honor in Kaduna State while commissioning several projects by the state government. Colonel Abubakar Dangiwa Umar, a former military officer and outspoken critic of successive governments, was described by President Tinubu as a soldier of democracy. Umar served as military governor of Kaduna and later became a vocal advocate for democratic reforms. He was a key figure in the campaign against the annulment of June 12, 1993 presidential election. Umar's omission from the June 12 honors sparked criticism from some civil society actors and democracy advocates. Tinubu apologized while addressing the people of Kaduna, saying that Umar's name was inadvertently left out of the list of June 12 honorees announced on Democracy Day.
Let me use this opportunity to correct an omission. Some of those people that I missed out during the June 12 broadcast in the National Assembly is Colonel Dangiwa. Today, let me correct that by honoring him with national recognition of CFR.
Well, congratulations. Still on the milestone, this time in the United States, in a historic move, the governor of North Carolina, Josh Stern, on Thursday declared June 14th as Igbo Day in honor of the cultural contributions of the Igbo community in the state. Well, the proclamation recognizes the Igbo people as a vital part of North Carolina's social, economic, and cultural life. Governor Stern noted the community's impact across education, law, medicine, tech, entrepreneurship, and the arts. He also praised their commitment to civic engagement, from volunteering in schools and food drives to cultural performances and women's shelter support. The declaration highlighted the founding of the Igbo Day Festival organization in 2022, which held its first cultural celebration that year. Isn't this so refreshing to see a tribe being celebrated abroad in the manner that the governor has, done? Juneteenth as well is such a big day, and it's great that they honored the people, the Igbo society there as well. Still on the milestone, we have another story. Today, we celebrate Bayo Ononuga on his 68th birthday anniversary. We pray that the good Lord may continue to guide him, prosper him, and grant him many more bountiful years. Yay, happy 68th birthday, Bayo Ononuga. Well, we'll take our good news report now. In commemoration of World Sickle Cell Day, Afrobeat star Adekunle Gold launched a free health insurance program for 1,000 people living with sickle cell as part of his contribution to fighting against the disease. June 19th is a globally recognized day devoted to increasing awareness of sickle cell disease, a genetic blood disorder that affects millions of people worldwide. Adekunle Gold, who is a sickle cell survivor, has been vocal about his sickle cell journey, most notably through his 2022 single, 5 Star. The singer announced the Free Health Initiative program via Instagram, saying that the initiative, tagged 5 Star Care, is designed to ease the financial burden of treatment, provide access to routine checkups, emergency services, and long-term care for patients. The program, powered by his foundation, the Adekunle Gold Foundation, is supported by the Lagos State Ministry of Health and Sickle Cell Management Initiative.
See, I don't look like waiting, I don't see. I will never forget the 90s. Many nights I go there beg for mercy. Sickle cell been show me crisis. Thank you for the journey, oh Lord, oh Lord. If I say my story, oh, oh. Fire can't school, I'm ever blazing. I roll deep with the Almighty. I did try for myself. VIP no regular. Can't copy this formula. I ain't fight Talangelo. I did try for myself. VIP no regular. Can't copy this formula.
This is such a laudable cause. And for our viewers, I'll encourage, those patients who have sickle cell to go to the AdekunleGoldFoundation.com to register for free treatment. Kudos Adekunle Gold, and this is such a laudable initiative. I wish we had more time for What's Trending today. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. You all have a great weekend. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.